All right. A scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. Now, I learned those words and their meaning about when Carmen was my age. That's a lie. It's been a lot longer than that. But, the thing about those 12 words in the Scout Law is how they stick with a young man and guide them throughout their lives. I always joke about somebody will come up to me in a store, I'll be in my uniform, and they'll stand at Scout's attention. I want to mess this all up. It's been 60 years, and they start reciting it. And more times than not, they at least get the words right or close enough. And they might be in reverse order, but again, they haven't said that for 50, 60 years, but that's still a foundation and a principle for them. Well, I've recently celebrated my 2-year anniversary, or our 2-year anniversary here in Southwest Louisiana. And, we've truly been blessed. Scouting here in Southwest Louisiana has really been thriving. And that's not a pun intended on the magazine that I've been getting harassed about for the last month. But, we've led the nation in membership recruitment. We've grown about 170% in our recruitment efforts since I got here. And, that's something remarkable. Now, the most important thing and rewarding thing I find in that is what scouting really yields, and what that does is it provides an opportunity for parents and their kids to interact with each other in ways that they may not have at all, let alone what they get to learn. Cub Scouting is a Cub Scout or elementary age program, and the best way to describe Cub Scouting, when you're not a kid, is that it's a how to raise your son book. And it teaches you different things. As involved as my parents were, it was not on my dad's checklist that was up when I was in 3rd grade to teach me how to tie a necktie. Or in 5th grade to teach me how to fix my flat tire of my brand new bike that I've had for 3 days that he poked a hole in it. No idea why he took my brand new bike. I come home from my friend's house and he's like, well, we need to fix your tire. I was like, there's nothing wrong with it. I just got it. So now there's a hole in it. So all right. So we go out there and 3 hours later, we're still fishing for bubbles in the soapy water. And we ended up going to the store, so I learned how to insert a new tube in a bike tire instead of fixing that one. But it's opportunities like that. And that's what the kids are learning from and the parents are learning from. But throughout the whole stages, there's the whole renowned dedication to duty of God. And the significance of duty to God at every level of scouting, that means a lot to me. How many families are actually sitting around a table and talking about God, talking about faith? I tell you that more than not, there's so many families that are like, well, I don't want to pressure my kid. I'm not going to tell them what to do for faith. How scary is that?
Yeah.
You're throwing your kids out, unshielded, unprotected, and wow. One of the blessings that I will cherish throughout my whole life is when we were in Georgia and we were members of a Andy Stanley church, who's a pastor out in Georgia. And I had the opportunity to baptize both my children with the pastor of that church. I never in my wildest dreams would have imagined having that opportunity to baptize my daughter Trinity and Mikey. But, the fact that they're shielded and protected and that family unit is surrounded by God's love, that's what I'm appreciative about scouting. But again, throughout the whole thing, the kids are learning about, we get to have fun, we're building stuff, we're blowing stuff up, not we're shooting stuff. But, that's what they're learning from. But their takeaway, the Scout Law. Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. Other big things that have happened in these 2 years, we've developed a new program at Conbray-Fondell Elementary with the help of SASL. We haven't been receiving United Way funds for 4 years. It's not a big secret. And that's okay. My mindset is it's kind of like Patch Adams. This scene in the movie stuck with me as a kid and continues so. They're in the mental ward and the doctor's saying, holding up his fingers. He's like, how many fingers do you see? And he said what was right in front of him. He said, no, you have to look beyond that. You have to look past the obstacles. So we're serving communities we haven't served in about 20 years, thanks to community partners like Sasol, who funded this STEM robotics program that we're doing there. And already in a matter of months, the academic growth with the kids that have been involved has been terrific. But more importantly, the behavior modification, just the impact of that. The rate of incidents for them to be called up to the principal's office is cut in more than half, just in 3.5 months. And the other staggering thing that always humors me, being a scout most of my life, is that these 4th and 5th grade kids are asking to wear their uniform to school. You couldn't pay me to wear my uniform to school as a kid. But for them, it might be the nicest piece of clothing that they have. And these uniforms aren't given to them. They earn them through participation. And again, this is what Sasol is helping do, and through this Sasol Gives program, and in my case, and I were talking about last night, they've actually more than doubled their commitment this year so we can expand it. But they wear it to school on the day of their scout meetings. And the meaning and significance of that is so cool. But during our United Way presentation this year, a couple weeks ago at Cambrai Fondell, the assistant principal came in and said, look, the grade's improving, that's terrific. That's great. But he kept on emphasizing disciplinary problems. Because in communities like that, where there is not the parental support, there is not any support at home at all, they're walking to school. I think there's 2 buses for the whole school. It's a neighborhood school. He said just having that support system and the excitement that these kids have in scouting is so great. He couldn't speak enough about it. So that program's been terrific. We're serving, I think they said about 23% of the male population at that school in the scouting program. And again, this is a community that typically I want to be the case. And that's kind of the community I grew up in. My sister and I were bused into a historically black elementary school. We were 2 of 25 white kids bused in. Right down the road from Bethune-Cookman College in Daytona Beach, Florida. Nobody came and recruited us for scouting. But because we got to go to the race free for a couple of years because we wore a scouting uniform, my dad's friend had an extra shirt. And I finally guilted him saying, hey, why do we take this shirt off when we go into the race? I was blessed to have that opportunity and exposure that I would not have had because of the elementary school I go to. And that's wrong. And that's why I've been driven for 18 years of my life now, to make sure that we're reaching out to all neighborhoods, all communities, because I want to have an opportunity to change one more kid's life, like mine was changed. Thanks to all the people that poured into me through scouting. So Camp Edgewood. How many have been to Camp Edgewood before? Beautiful camp. We've had it since 1954, 264 acres. It has been loved on. There have not been many changes to that property since 1954. I think our last real buildings were done in the early to mid-70s, aside from a few cabins and stuff that we've done lately. But over the last few years, we've poured in over $70,000 on improvements. We got these 2 big fans in the dining hall that we call the Big Edge fans. There's no advertisement for the manufacturer on there, just because that's a conversation I don't want to continue to have at every event at camp about why is there big-ass fans on them. Very accurate statement, but also a very exciting time is 2020 is our 100th anniversary here in Lake Charles as a local Boy Scout council. So as part of that, we acquired the YMCA facility in February, actually on Beer Day. And it's one of those birthday gifts you don't know if you're thrilled to get, or Lord, what have we done? And I wanted to expand a little bit about that, but the excitement and everything that came with that facility and the rallying point around that was shattered 2.5 weeks later when we lost the scout due to a freak accident. And we're still recovering from that. And we had everything was just go. We had a structure engineer lined up, and it was that week that he passed. And needless to say, my efforts and attention were elsewhere. And so, there's been a little bit of a delay. We have gotten the outside cleaned up, so we do look better than the post office. Very low bar of standards. The facility itself, 36,000 square feet. It's huge. huge. And obviously it's been abandoned for the last 12 years, and it wasn't in the best care 25, 30 years prior to that, from what I'm gathering. And I understand resources are limited. Inside, and you know, I'll either post some pictures, or I'll share some pictures at another time. It's in bad shape. We need that structural engineer to go in. We have some projects out there. We need to clear it out. There's mold, mildew issues. There's some ceiling integrity issues, but also the pool, which seems to be everybody's affinity of that facility is the pool. That's where everybody and their mother learned how to swim. Fortunately, we had Joey Tassin, who's a Sabine Pools, and his son is in our Boy Scout troop, and he's one of our volunteer leaders, and he was in the scout office a couple weeks ago. I said, "So Joey, what do you do at Sabine?" Of course, I already knew the answer. And so I said, how about a fun project? He said, why? I said, yeah. He said, yeah, we've looked at that several times. But, you know, some of the vision for that is for that facility to be a community center. Yes, it's going to be our office and our headquarters, but the whole concept is that it's a leadership and activity center for Southwest Louisiana. We want to partner with 4 to 5 other nonprofit agencies, kind of like the Seed Center concept, but for nonprofits. Even to lend some resources between the tenants there to help maybe incubate new nonprofits or those that don't have a national support system like we have, where our training and structure is bar none. Not everybody has an opportunity. It's not going to be a YMCA business model that doesn't succeed in this day and age. Not when you have Planet Fitness for $10 a month and all that stuff, but we are looking at partnering with a fitness location that maybe want a satellite area. NRA has also approached us about developing an indoor shooting and archery range for us. Again, that would be open to the public. We're also focused on doing STEAM classrooms, which is STEM, but you also incorporate the arts. And partnering with schools for field trip areas, you know, be subject matter experts, leveraging our relationships in the community, and having that to be an asset. We want field trips there. We want birthday parties there. We want that to be a living, breathing center of our community again. And what an awesome, transformational opportunity that truly is, not only for downtown Lake Charles, but also for scouting. Maybe we won't be seen as the, you know, when they did my photo shoot for Thrive, they said, okay, well, we want you to tie knots or maybe sew a badge on your sash. Like, I brought my shotgun. I have a flag, you know, my son and I can fold, and then one of the other scenes was him in my Boy Scout uniform, you know, recreating the Norman Rockwell painting, Can't Wait. And so my uniform was just, you know, flowering over him, and we were saluting each other, and really cool. They just sent me a link to look at them, so I can't wait to see those. But, again, just the opportunity here, once we get our baseline after the structural engineers in, we're going to have town hall meetings. We'll have some kind of facilitation or discussion. If you want to participate, great. Everybody's welcome. Will we take all the ideas? Probably not. I mean, that's not realistic. But a wise man seeks the counsel of many. And that's a motto of mine that I try to live by. So that I know that we'll end up with a better product for the community if that's the case. And then there'll be some new changes too. I mean, one of the things I want to do is like an eternal flame fire ring in the back, so we can also use it for a camping facility for small numbers. An Eagle Scout recognition area along that, you know, little amphitheater style, listing all the Eagle Scouts in the community, and so forth. But there will be more information to come. That's just kind of where we're at, you know, with our committee. Rick Richard's our board president. He was here a couple weeks ago, spoke, and donated an item for the auction last night at the Italian Villa. Kip Tahada, who's the executive director for Ward 3 Park and Rec, is also on our board and in charge of this project. And then Tom Sherman. And that's just the basis of it. And we have another 7 people last I saw that are at least resources and reference points for this kind of stuff. So we're blessed with having subject matter experts at our disposal. So, you know, stay tuned. It's not going to be a quick project. It won't be a 6-month or 9-month deal. Best, it's a complete gut job. Worst case scenario, there will be another facility on that property delivering the mission that we're looking at. So we will stay tuned and keep you guys updated. But thank you so much for having me a part of the club. I truly love being a Rotarian as much as I love being a Scout. And we appreciate it. We'll keep you posted.